I think I'm running into another bad movie bowl, starting with The Amazing Spider-Man, and we'll continue with The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which I hope has better speed and pacing than this, because I only remember that for having Electro being disgusting. That hair thing, ooh, that's like the half-arm man in Scary Movie 2. And that movie is bad because we should laugh on or with the movie, but that guy, we are failing with the protagonist group. Then comes this guy and ruins the party. It not just ruins for the characters, it ruins for us, the audience. What were they thinking? The Amazing Spider-Man. Look, if you like this Garfield guy, what do I know? I think he's medium good looking. Put him in a perfume advertisement or whatever. As actor, he is like nothing for me. And this movie is sure a dating simulator for him and Gwen Stacy. But it's not much more. Look, it's slow, it's melancholic, and the color palette is that DVD digital filming blackish grayish thing. It's just not fun to look at, and it doesn't have speed. I need action, and I don't mean for the last third of the movie being one continuous action scene. That's idiotic. And the first hour, he isn't even Spider-Man. He doesn't have the suit, doesn't have the motivation, doesn't have anything. His motivation is, by the way, some bullshit revenge, I want to kill everybody plot. I mean, sorry. I think I slept through that part, whether he actually catches the guy or not. I just didn't care, didn't seem to affect anything. But what I did not sleep through is he doesn't make his own webbing. The Reimi Spider-Man did. He should have eaten a lot, and I don't know how much he has ready in his veins. you know, like skunks can't spray their stuff every time they want. That needs to be produced. But yeah, comic book movie, whatever. Here, despite that being the only attribute the spider had, that's the only attribute of Spider-Man ability, he didn't get. He buys the fluid sprayer, whatever. He modifies it to shoot out strings, but that's besides the point. He buys it for Moscorp. I mean, seriously? Now, the spider. We didn't talk about it previously, but originally the spider got fatal gamma radiation, only had 5 minutes to live, so it bit the first being it came contact with in its last 5 minutes because it was disoriented and disturbed. In the Reimi universe, it bit it just escaped from its place and bit Peter. That already should not have been possible because spiders do not escape. Oh, I mean, any lab animal cannot escape, so there are security measures for that in real life. Here, they are gene manipulated. You know, that was the thing for the Reimi universe too, but here it's they making a Jurassic Park kind of. No, they are just making mRNA vaccines. Absolutely just that. It's a all cure vaccine, not just like, you know, the anti womb cancer thing, but sure. It's just an mRNA vaccine, so it shouldn't do that. But you know, there are those bioreactors and all those tables they are doing lab work on. The bioreactor, by the way, when Stacy says we are going to the bioreactors, they don't. The bioreactors are the big containers at the back of the room, and they are going left. That was funny. By the way, when you are doing this lab stuff, you are very probably doing it in clean space. That means airlocks, and that means not just one gate, but an airlock, the actual airlock space, and the second door, and then you get in the specified closes, special closes, and there is one rule you absolutely follow: no lab animal may escape. If they can escape, that's even worse than your experiment being pushed out accidentally. So, you know, chemicals and stuff. That's the worst case scenario. So Peter going just into an area where without any authorization, and there are just spiders all over the place, not even in terrariums or anything, that's bullshit. Absolute bullshit. No clothes there, no protecting container. There is no security measures. What was that logical puzzle thing even when the only thing that was placed as security measure? It wasn't a fingerprint sensor. And actually, Peter shouldn't even be able to sneak in as, you know, steal the identity of that other recruit, because all those cards come with a photo. Everywhere place puts a photo on them. And everywhere there are cameras and sensors, and you have to use your card to get into the place. And I'm 100% sure you, as a, you know, intern, you wouldn't have authorization to go into the spider room. That's absolutely impossible. So yeah, again, no security measures. This kind of starts to be as annoying as people holding the gun to the people's head. While the basic instruction for law enforcement and, you know, just weapon handling, be at least 2 meters away, because otherwise some crazy martial art guy or just, you know, some cocaine fueled guy will just take your stuff, gun away with a lucky move. There is a chance. That's why you don't go close. They always go close. Because fuck you, that's why. No, Peter's parents, father, mother, not the uncle. So they invented this thing, this spider mRNA vaccine stuff. I don't see what's the big deal about them. And until this watch, I was going with the, urban legend that they were spies. Nothing indicates that in the movie, in this one at least. They were just scientists who thought their experiment can be used for nefarious purposes. Maybe they were inventing super soldier serums, like, Green Goblin had one super soldier serum, because of course he had. Now, and Green Goblin got copied into this movie, because why can't be anything original? The lizard. Sure, the lizard is a different thing. Green, I wouldn't call it out. But it has a double personality. It talks to it. Yeah, the personality talks to him, and they have conversation like Gollum, The Lord of the Rings. Very original movie, very original. And sure, the lizard always had this motivation in the comics and everything to make the superior reptile race, so that's okay. But we are spending in this movie mostly not bothering with that, and even when we do, there is the parents plot, parents motivation, the lizard motivation, and the find the killer motivation. And I just lost between these three, and I just didn't care because none of them got developed and emphasized enough. Okay, let's see what else. We should be talking about the inherent conservative nature of this movie. Uncle Ben dies because he's a fucking ridiculous conservative stereotype. There is Gwen Stacy's father, who is an ultra conservative stereotype again. This inherent contradiction to the respect of authority and also the vigilante aspect that might make right thing, which is an inherent contradiction in that philosophy or worldview or ideology, whatever you want to call it. I call it a church because it always ends up worshipping the Bible, God. Here it's not much emphasis on that aspect at the very least, but there is also this aspect on this Spider-Man 2. He's also running with it. And that's not very attractive, when you are considering the budget and how much tickets you have to sell. So these movies are expensive, so you have to sell a lot of tickets, what means you have to get a general audience into your movie. And that's the problem with the MCU at the moment, because if you are doing this diversifying your portfolio thing and not just buffing your resume, with all these projects, but seemingly encouraging people to just choose the subplot you want to follow. You are a Captain America guy, you watch Winter Soldier, Falcon. If you are a Hulk guy, you watch She-Hulk. If you are a Hawkeye guy or girl, you watch Lady Hawkeye. Or if you are, Wanda, then you go watch WandaVision and Multiverse of Madness, and so on and so on. But that means every product will pull in a smaller audience. That means less tickets sold. That means you should spend less to create those products. And the MCU definitely not does that. So, yeah, I'm not happy with this movie because it's slow, meandering, and probably the conversations between, Andrew Garfield and whoever played Stacy was not written. They just ad-libbing something. It's not on the level of Ghostbusters, the female Ghostbusters, which was both better and worse because at least they formed coherent sentences, which meant again nothing and led nothing and were bloated. But here you don't have sentences, not even words at times, so that was fun. The shadow guy at the very end, I guess, is Norman Osborn, with powers to walk through walls or whatever. I have not that much of a clue, but I can make my own guesses. So the Amazing Spider-Man is not very amazing. But let's move on.